Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from WBLS. You're watching Open, and our next guest is the Director of Staff of the United Federation of Teachers. And he's here today to speak about the latest update on the work that he is doing with the UFT and to highlight an important event that he is attending with the NAACP. So please welcome to the show, my friend, Anthony Harmon. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Bob, good to see you again. As you said, I'm doing a whole bunch of things this summer. Although school is on summer break, the work still continues.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I also serve as president of the New York branch of the NAACP.
Yes.
Those people that don't know, the NAACP is the oldest civil rights organization in the country. Here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, we're celebrating our 113th year anniversary of the organization being in existence. This national conference is bringing together leaders from the NAACP from all across the country. So there are people not only here from New York, New Jersey, but California, Missouri, Kansas City, Texas, all over the place. We've all come together to sit down and really have some real in-depth conversations about the direction of the organization for the coming year. The theme for this year's conference.
This is power. This is power.
This is power. I was just going to say that this is power. That's our theme for this year's national conference. And what we hope is that when they leave this convention, they'll go back and they'll enact a lot of the policies and enact on some of the decisions that we're coming up with.
Yeah.
So
and, a lot of things on the table too. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about LBTG and the whole alphabet thing, and we're talking about a lot of the other things that are gun violence. All of those things on the table. I was reading something the other day, and of course, the CEO is highlighting some of those things that are the main issues here that we're going to be ironing out at the NAACP convention.
Absolutely, Bob. We're going to continue our focus with the NAACP. We have what's called game changers. And, those game changers is what we're asking all of our branches to focus on throughout the country. Education, what's happening with education, healthcare is another, criminal justice, civic engagement, because we want our people engaged and not only registered to vote, but then on election day, get out to vote, right? I think in New York, we got some challenges because, we have two primaries now, right? So first of all, they switched the date from the primary. People are used to voting in September for your primary and then November for your general election. Now
that's confusing a lot of people.
It's confusing a lot of people. So our goal is to educate our community and make sure that they know what these when these primaries are happening, and that they're educated on the issues. So there's a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions about that. The gun violence, of course. The other issues that we're trying to deal with is the whole issue of the Supreme Court decisions, right? And what's at stake, if they continue, going down this path. I think our very democracy is at stake, and we got to get our people, educated and out voting.
Yeah, like Percy Sutton said back in the day. Of course, Percy Sutton was the one who started WBLS, Inner City Broadcasting Corporation, along with Howard Jackson. He was the Manhattan Borough president, but I asked him a question years ago. I said, what do you say to people who think voting isn't important? And he went on to say, he got beside himself. He said, what? Well, if you think voting is not important, the way how spoke. If you think it's not important, just think the president of the United States gets a chance to choose Supreme Court justices. And then he went on and on and on. But, that it didn't hit right then. But when you look at it now, look what it's doing. They get a chance to choose the Supreme Court justices. But not only that, the importance of voting in the general election, you got to vote in those the elections just before that, all the primaries and all the things that come before that, the local elections.
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, vote in every possible election. If the election is for dog catcher, you need to vote for the dog catcher.
That's
because
right.
tomorrow they may be coming to get your dog, right? So you have to vote. You have to vote.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's what we're trying to stress to everybody. I think King also said something like, we have to be careful because when we got people in the South that feel that they don't have, that they can't vote, and then people in the North that feel that they don't have anything to vote for, you know,
yeah,
uh, uh, we got to stress that. I tell people all the time, my grandmother picked cotton so that I could pick presidents, right?
yeah,
Um, and I don't think people realize the long-term effect that when they elected, a president, that president can appoint those Supreme Court justices that will be in those seats for the next 10, 20 years because,
for
Supreme
decades.
Court justices are not term limited.
Yeah,
So those people and their views, their philosophies will be in existence for the next 10 or 20 years. So you're not only talking about what yourself in the current, you're also talking about 20 years down your children and your children's children,
yeah,
what they're going to have to go through should the Supreme Court, come out with these decisions that
yeah,
like they're coming out now, right?
yeah,
We even heard something the other day that they're also going to be looking at the whole LGBTQ issue, right? And what's happening with the gay marriages and what's happening with, I heard something about they're going to be looking at Plessis versus Ferguson. So we got to be really, really careful with these things. And
like
we have to
back
act.
time. But if you think, I like what John Lewis said, if you think voting is not important, why do you think so many people are trying to keep you from going to the ballot box?
Absolutely, absolutely. So those are the things that we're talking about at this particular conference. In this book right here, Bob, these are the resolutions that we're talking about, we're discussing. And this
Yeah,
book contains about 75 different positions, and they're asking us, the body, the delegates that are here, to vote on some of these resolutions. And again, they have to do with everything from healthcare to housing to criminal justice to economic
yeah,
development, even our young people, right? What are we doing about our young people and how do we encourage them? Speaking of Ed, but also part of this conference is that we're going to have opportunity to celebrate. So I'm just going to say, Bob, congratulations to you. You're going to be recognized. I don't know if the listening audience know, but you're going to be recognized at our labor luncheon that's going to start in about an hour or so, highlighting your work in the community and really helping us to, sound the alarm and give voice, to our communities and letting people know and providing platforms like this where people can get on and share, what's happening in our communities. So often our people, don't have the knowledge that they are not aware of what's
yeah.
happening and what's coming down the pike. But, thanks to programs like this, Bob, that we're able to sound the alarm and make sure that our communities are informed.
Yeah. Now, you're a man of so many hats. You are the multitasking king, and you also do some great things with UFT. Tell us some of the things that we're working on with that.
So I want to say first and foremost, I want to thank all the teachers and all the administrators in our school building that got us through this pandemic, right?
Yes.
Between the virtual, the hybrid, and all of that other. Thank you to our paraprofessionals, our school aides, our crossing guards, our cafeteria workers, all of these people that helped us get through this school year. Thank you.
And feeding,
Everybody had a role to play in this. You kept our schools safe. Our kids, when they didn't have any place else to turn to, they turned to our school system. So thank you to all those people that work in our school system. I cannot thank you enough, right? That's the first thing. But then, coupled with that, there's also some challenges that lie ahead of us. I was on before, Bob, and I talked about this whole issue about smaller class sizes and what we were doing at the UFT to encourage, our class sizes to be limited. In New York City, we're looking at 36 kids, 34 kids in a classroom. No place else, do they have these, numbers, right? Other places there's 18 kids, in a classroom, 20 kids in New York City, it's 34 kids. In some cases, it's as many as 50 kids in a classroom, right? Now, if we're talking about individualized instruction, how much individualized instruction could you give to 36 kids in a 48-minute period? Or right? Exactly. So we were trying to do something in terms of the class sizes, and we got a lot of support from Albany, from our legislators and things of that sort. But our mayor, at the current time, is proposing some, severe budget cuts to our New York City public school system. One of the things, that we're having trouble wrapping our heads around is because the federal government poured billions of dollars into our school system to help us recover from this pandemic. Everybody knows that, things are not normal. The federal government recognized that, and they poured billions of dollars into our public school systems to help us get back on track. But so the money's there, but the
Yeah.
mayor is still posting some, some serious cuts to education. And what these education could mean is like we talked about the 34 kids. It may go up to 40 kids in a classroom because there's going to be some real challenges. Programs could be eliminated, right? Our sports teams our extracurricular activities may be eliminated. Because principals are going to have to make some decisions. Do I keep my English teacher, or do I keep the after-school chess club, or do I keep the after-school chorus? Or but those are decisions that principals are going to be forced to make. So we're asking the community to get involved, let their voices be heard, to join us in our campaign. So it's estimated that the mayor's proposed cuts will be upwards of $215 million.
Woo. Yeah.
So as I say, what does that mean to like regular folk, right? Well, you hear these big numbers. Well, the UFT, what we've done on our website, uft.org, and if people went to uft.org/budget, BUDGET, they could type in their school, and there's a calculator, and it would tell you how much your particular school is stand to lose should these budget cuts go through. So if you type, if you're concerned about PS 167, you could go onto the website, type in 167K, Brooklyn, Q, Queens, X for the Bronx, right? And it would tell you, your school is scheduled to lose $800,000 this September. Your school is scheduled to lose $1.1 million this September, So it makes it very real for people.
So they can go onto your website and they can find out that and a whole lot more.
A whole lot more. Our point person for our parent engagement is a gentleman by the name of Nicholas Cruz.
Yeah.
And he, people can email him if they'd like to find out how they can get involved. His email address is ncruz, CRUZ, @uft.org. That's ncruz @uft.org. And he's heading up our parent engagement piece. We want to keep the pressure on throughout the summer months. So you may see us at, Harlem Week and the West Indian Day Parade and some of the other events. Yeah, some of the other events, really promoting why we need to, the mayor to restore some of these cuts that he's proposing.
We'll see you there, Anthony Harmon. Let's get ready to go to that union luncheon, and I'll see you there first before all those other things that we spoke about. But thank you so much. Thank you for all that you're doing and all that you do.
My pleasure.
All right.
And congratulations again, Bob. See you soon.
Thank you. Anthony Harmon, Director, United Federation of Teachers and President of NAACP New York Chapter. We'll take a break right here. I've got more open coming up next.